And here we go. We actually haven't left. We are back at it. We are here live, the Stronger Together podcast coming to you. I've been so fortunate for the last 4 years that ISTE has allowed us to share the voices of ISTE through this podcast. It has been a great opportunity to meet individuals, reconnect with some others, and for this year, very special to have my co-host, Nick from School AI. We are still cruising, Nick.
Yeah, the Stronger Together phrase means more and more every time I have one of these conversations, because it's so fundamentally true, because I definitely feel stronger after every one of these conversations, because it's just a constant flow of information and good ideas and conversation. I'm very blessed to be here.
It's like we're getting, nonstop TED Talks.
Yeah, it is exactly like nonstop TED Talks. It's pretty impressive. We have someone pretty amazing joining us right now.
Well, let's just bring her right in. Well, that's a good intro. Becky Keene.
I was like hovering in reversals.
Yeah. Becky, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. It has been an amazing event already, and I'm all smiles.
Awesome. So for those out there who don't know you or your work, share a little bit about yourself.
My name is Becky Keene. I'm an author, educator, speaker. I run Digital Labs, which is an education, professional development, and consulting company. I love working in education. I love what I do.
So, Nick, you've mentioned Becky's name a few times. Is she going to be at your booth?
I name drop her. I can't help it.
Yes.
She is a phenomenal educator, but we've known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to collaborate with you in different ways, and now with School AI to be able to bring you into the booth and bring you into our conversations and work with our program. She will be in the booth today in about 45 minutes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
45
Yeah,
minutes.
we're headed straight there. My laptop is charging down the hall.
That's it.
Yeah.
Perfect. My question for you is, as a friend, but also someone who has admired your work for years.
Thank you.
Your AI optimism approach, which before I came to School AI, I was just doing teacher stuff using School AI and whatever. And you have this book and at School AI, I'm like, oh my goodness, how are these things connecting?
Yeah.
And AI optimism in a world where that is not the default for a lot of people, I think.
It's not.
How do you communicate this? I mean, writing the book is the best way to communicate it, but what's the message to people that are just so anti Edtech, as we talked about in our last conversation, but specifically AI?
Well, I have a background as an instructional coach. And so I spent 10 years working in a medium to large size school district in Washington State, where my job was to help people see the benefits of using technology in education, using it properly, responsibly, with great pedagogy. So I use those same instructional coaching principles. I start by listening. What are people's concerns? What are they worried about? What are the things that are really eating at them, keeping them up at night? If I hear someone say, oh, I don't use AI, I'm like, oh my goodness, tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear more about that decision and what it means to you. And often I find that there is a fear-based decision happening, maybe from something they've seen in the media. Some of it is ethical-based, so they're worried about environmental sustainability and consumption, which, we all have concerns about the planet and the world that we live in and how we care for it together. And so I just start with that very personal level approach when I'm, speaking to individuals. When I'm speaking to large groups, a little different approach, right? When I'm keynoting, I talk about the diffusion of innovation. I talk about incremental innovation. I talk about, how being worried and concerned and having moral concern about new technology is actually a very normal pattern. We've been doing that since the Dewey Decimal System and the printing press. There's all these tools that we now come to see as normal that at first had great pushback. And I think we're just 3.5 years, 4 years into that same cycle as AI. And so I validate those emotions as completely normal. And we're just in the process.
Oh, I like it. Now, I know all of your sessions have passed, but on the session you did
except
for the booth
session.
I have one more. The booth session, of course. You can't forget about that. But one from today, from shortcuts to scaffold AI that strengthens student thinking.
Yes.
Expand on that, because that's just not a session. It's a way of thinking for our schools and leaders.
It is. And let me tell you, Matt, I was so honored to have, there was fire hazard level in the room. We had people sitting everywhere. Sitting and standing, they turned away 30 at the door.
Wow.
Because people want to know about tools that don't replace student thinking. It's not an outsource. We're not just trying to get things done faster. Productivity is great, but we're teachers. We want to know about tools that build student understanding and cognition. And the research that's coming out of Stanford and Harvard on mentor-based AI that's helping and supporting learners, is that when done right, it is amplifying learning. It is giving people multiple perspectives. It's giving them an opportunity to shift their thinking and stretch their thinking in multiple ways. That's not done if all we focus on is ChatGPT writing essays. So that session is really about the tools that make that transformation happen.
Was that one of the recorded sessions?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. So those are the ones where I tell you, I wish I could have, but there's only so many me's and so many time periods. And I think that's what's so powerful. So we'll hopefully get a glimpse of that in the booth today, maybe?
Well, I only talk about transforming student learning experiences. That's my jam.
All right, so that's
so I was leading into that one.
Yeah.
But I like how you talk about it. It's a theme that I keep seeing over and over again with these conversations, Matt, is that if we treat teachers like children in the sense of how we teach students, we'll see success. Because, like you said, I want to hear the problem. What is your concern?
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
You do that with a student, and you get to the core. Exactly, right? And so I don't know why we treat adults so differently when it comes to helping them understand the things that they do, because personalizing it, making them feel seen, making them hear that their concern is valid, but let's explore why that concern is it. So I love that approach that you talk about, because it's fundamental, because it's not an issue of you're right or wrong. It's, hey, maybe you misunderstand this tool. Maybe you misunderstand the potential impact of this tool.
Or even, I'll just expand on that. You may have seen a graphic that I have called the 5 personalities of AI. And thank you for acknowledging. And that has been incredibly well received. I think because none of them are negative. It's not like, oh, you're a skeptic, or ooh, you're a traditionalist. They all have such positive value. And when I do that poll in front of a live audience, I've done it with well over 1,000 teachers now across the country. That poll tells us that people feel good. They're like, yeah, that's me. And we talk about how those lenses bring power to a conversation about AI, and those perspectives matter. We should be thinking about all the multiple views of how AI can impact us. And so identifying those different personalities in a way that's really personal is a good thing. And then I always add on in my talks, guess what? You all can be an AI optimist.
There you go.
Right? Bring it home.
It gets me like emotional, because I've spent time as an Edtech coach too, right? Where you've had those teachers that just act like students, I'm dumb. I don't understand the technology. I can't understand the technology. Maybe it's time for me to retire or whatever, right? Because the narrative is, well, if you're not doing this, you're hurting your students. Like you are.
We do want to prepare our students for their future, not for our present. But that can look different.
For some teachers, it's a little dramatic, because they're being hit at a PD. Boom, you have 1 hour to learn this thing, because it has to happen. And if you don't do it, like there are these potential consequences across the board. And so I've always loved your approach that has always emphasized meeting people where they are and helping them move at the pace that they're able to move in. And that changes the difference for everyone.
Thank you.
And one of the sessions you had earlier is about student agency, because too often we hear, and I hear in my role, that, oh, this is going to be cheating and all of that stuff. But how are you creating agency while using AI? Because some people think it's replacing thinking.
Right. I even have a slide for this.
What a setup.
Right? Where we're getting a selfie right now.
It's what
happens.
I know, we met a while ago. Yes, this is what live podcasting looks like.
I love it. And that was a human moment. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
So I have a slide where I say, if you only view AI as a replacement, then of course it's a problem. But if you view it as a partner, instead of a problem. Now we're viewing it as a complement, a supplement, an augment. We're looking at all the ways that AI can amplify the work that we do, not replace the work that we do. And that's just a shift in thinking. It has to do with skill evolution. It has to do with giving students an opportunity to say, you know what, maybe I don't know coding, but now thanks to AI, I can develop a game. Maybe I'm not an artist, but thanks to AI, I can illustrate my story. And so it's giving them agency, choice, empowerment to do things that weren't previously possible. It's not a substitution to use AI to create art for a kid that does not want to create art.
Sure.
It's actually a help to their story. So, that's a really important conversation. And I think people get very antsy about using AI in certain fields, certain industries, because they're passionate about that industry. They're passionate about art or marketing or game development. And what they're missing, I think, in my opinion, is where that can become an on-ramp for kids to be excited about learning that industry. Because before it was a barrier, now it becomes a possibility.
You all right over there, Nick?
The reason, again, Becky and I have known each other and friends for a long time is that we do see the world in very similar veins. It's so powerful because sometimes you can feel alone on an island.
Yeah.
Because some of these, and it's silly to say, but some of these can be very radical ideas in the Edtech space, right? Which is unfortunate because they're not like meet people where they are, support, right? But like to have that, to listen to someone else speak that truth out is really powerful because it has made, and I've seen your sessions, I've been in your sessions, like it impacts those students consistently. And it's like the 1 year, right? Yours your book anniversary.
Yes, it's been out for 1 year.
And I've seen, just followed you, all of these teachers with your book that I've read and have responded and commented on LinkedIn. Like you have made a difference in thousands of educators, and then you X that times students. And that's something really powerful, which you can do. And my message to everyone out there is that share your story, make those connections because the ripple effects of what you do can go on and make serious impacts. And like that's why I wanted Becky Keene at the School AI booth, because I wanted many people as possible to hear this message because what's possible and if you can do it. And so I always love that approach. And I think with AI optimism in a world where, depending on what news cycle you're in, you either are optimistic or you're not. Right. So to help with that media literacy aspect of it, with AI literacy has been huge, and like thank you for all of your work in that area because it's not easy.
Well, thank you. And I did have a teacher come up to me at the end of a workshop I was leading, not here at ISTE, but previously, and she said, you know what, I oversee like the entire department, and she said, so she came up to me and she said, I want you to know, because of you have now indirectly impacted, and she named the number. It was like 1,275 students that go through their program every year. And I was like teary about it, I said, that is the biggest compliment I can get. And thank you so much. Because when you come out of a classroom and then I moved to a district level, I did feel, I hoped that my influence would have that ripple effect, as we all do, if you're not directly with students anymore. And so doing things like volunteering and adapting classrooms for projects is important, but it's not the same. And so that ripple effect is, what really fills my heart.
Wow, that's a lot. So I just want to thank you. That is a lot. It's so impressive, and you have to really sit with it and process. So I look forward to learning more from you, which I've had for over 2 years now.
We've gotten to connect so many times.
We have. It's been great. I'm very lucky and very fortunate as well, and continue to learn together. And for those of you who are still here at ISTE, make sure to check out one more plug for the booth time, Nick.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
2714.
All right, go on up. We're going to be there in 30 minutes. Yeah. Make sure to check her out. And speaking of checking out, we have a couple more guests coming on, wrapping up our ISTE Live as well. Happening next. So continue to watch. If you haven't seen some of our past interviews, log on to the playlist, hear from all these amazing educators, learn, a lot of great people on the list, and bring that back to your district. So thank you all for watching. And Becky, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.